and then I miss bits that I was intending to do just because it'll be alright, don't worry. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on YouTube. Dave here in the garage, area 51, doors, fiberglass, bondo, bog, mud. Yep. Let's get at it. Okay, so last week I butchered up, welding up, big hole in the door, and then got these doors into Epoxy Primer. I was just going to bolt them up, hang the doors, and then I'd do all the body work and then that while they were in place, which makes sense for the outside part of the door. But then I noticed I had a bit of a reaction actually here, so I've been sanding down here, and I also needed to just smooth out a couple of pieces on the underside, which I thought it would be easier. Wait, slow down. Speeders. So, I'm gonna lose my cover, the wind's getting up. I thought it would be easier to kind of do those while the doors were off and on the stands. And there's a couple of bits in here, which is the hinge area, which I thought again easier to get in there, sand them while the doors are on the stands. Snowball effect. Thought I'd do a bit of fiberglassing and just smoothing a couple of things out at the hinge area on the post before I hang the doors, just so it's easier than trying to get in there, you know, while the hinges and all that door are in the way and stuff. The rest of it I'll do while the doors are in situ, because I can kind of just open the door and get out of the way. But these areas here, I thought I better get in there and sort of, because I know down the bottom here it's tight to get in there and work with the door open or closed sort of thing, so especially closed. So I wanted to kind of get in there, maybe smooth that out a bit. Get in there just for a sand's alright, you know, prepping for paint, but trying to get in there to sand some fiberglass down or some bondo, mud, filler, whatever you want to call it. That's a whole nother animal. So what I've been doing is, down here we had some welds and stuff like that, so that, you know, kind of a bit coarser. Same in this area at the bottom of the door, because the bottom of this door was replaced. There was a join here and a join at that end, and the welds weren't like metal finished, so I just put up a little bit of short grain, medium grain, I don't know, some fiberglass stuff I bought the other day from the hardware shop, and chuck that over those areas just as a kind of like a initial fill, and then I'll take most of that probably back out again, and then I'll get into it like I've done up here with the old just normal U-pole stuff. Dolphin sands up real nice, that stuff. It's probably one of the better bondo bog mud things I've ever used, but I'm no expert. I've only used generally just cheap shit from the chain retail car parts places. Anyway, that's where we're at. 3 minutes and 5 seconds of jibber jabber about what I'm gonna do, and I haven't done anything yet. Well, I'm underway. Also, I missed, I don't know, it might be the other door, I missed a few bits when I was trying to prime up underneath here, so I'll do a bit of spot priming, re-priming the inner part of the door, just get it nice and sealed up. Once we get these things smoothed out, I'll lay a little bit more epoxy down over the top of this stuff just as a sealer to seal it up while we do everything else. Yeah, okay, carry on. Pencil, kind of got to leave out of it. Okay, so I've been sanding, didn't film any of it because it's sanding. Kind of got this to the first kind of lay in sort of thing, so I just want to put some pencil lines in to where I want to kind of run a bit of, like where am I going to go to type of thing, don't have to worry about that area so much, but it's sort of just putting some sort of marks so I kind of know where I want to go with the old Bondo, if you know what I mean. Like, I always think, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then I miss bits that I was intending to do just because I'm worried that it's going to go off too fast or something like that. So I'm just going to do a second pass on these upper bits and a first pass on that fiberglass down there, and yeah, then we'll carry on, I guess. I also, if you remember, the old on the porosity on the door is actually the other door. I run a little bit of fiberglass up that, so I'll show you what I was talking about. So I actually just kind of got some on my finger and sort of run that into those little holes, just kind of pushed it in, and I've just kind of given it an 80 grit sort of sandback. I'll leave that at 80, I reckon, because I'm just gonna hit that with the old epoxy again anyway, so over the top of it, so to seal it up. You know what I'm saying? Right, I'm gonna mix up some more poo and poo up some more stuff. Where are we at? Update. I haven't been filming myself like putting Bondo on, bog on, and sanding bog and stuff. I'll just kind of give you updates for now. Hopefully that's my final kind of skim for now on that there. This area here, I'm just kind of going to go over it with some 150. Doors are all kind of ready to re-spot prime, I think. And this side here, that's pretty much ready to repaint, re-prime that post. I'll have to tidy up my masking and stuff down there again. What can I say about it? Well, I'm not the greatest at it, sort of thing. Like, these areas are kind of tricky because they're kind of fiddly and trying to like spread your bog into this weird curve, and you know, you're kind of happy with one bit, you put some more bog in another part, and it, you know, you end up sanding more out of the other bit. What's going on over there? Bloody wind's coming up. But it is going to be a fairly kind of tucked away kind of little bit down in those corners. There's sill plates go over there, part of it, and the door and the hinge covers most of it and stuff as well down in the corners, up on the post. What'll that be? That'll kind of be tidy-ish. Again, I'm not going for laser straight Riddler car type shit. I'm going for driver type stuff, but still kind of want it to be kind of nice-ish, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've got to go out this afternoon as well, so I want to get this sanded up, remasked in that corner so I don't get stuff all over the floor, and get some epoxy on these. And I said in the last video that I was going to do all the doors once I'd hung them again, but I might... Which door is it? Not that one. It's that one. That's the one that I welded the big panel in and rebuilt the bottom of it. And so that's going to require a lot more work. So I might rough that one in on the stands, just so I can work at it standing up, and I'll get it kind of maybe 80% dialed in with what I want to do at body filler wise and stuff. And then I'll hang it on the door once, on the car, once we kind of start trying to, you know, make sure it all matches up to the rest of the car and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Right, so I just got to rip this in half, and then I can sand some stuff. A little bit of sanding, because I thought they're probably getting bad light actually over there. Now this is still quite soft and a little bit sort of beady sort of thing, so I'm just kind of quickly roughing it in while it's kind of soft, and then as it sort of keeps hardening up, it gets more powdery to sand. That's, I don't know, something I kind of do sometimes if I remember, like put some stuff down, give it about 10-15 minutes, start curing up, and then you can kind of quickly shave over it. And I'm using 80 grit. In the past I've always gone for like 60 or 40 and things like that, but I always would leave big grooves and everything, so I'm going a little touch finer, and so far it's working out quite a bit better. Because I always sand too far. That's just a given. I just sand too far with whatever piece of paper's in my hand, and then I have to come back and do another skim, and then I'll sand that too far back, and then I'll give it another skim, and I'll sand that too far back, and then I'll just kind of hope that the high build primer kind of takes care of that kind of business. But anyway, I will carry on with my 80 grit for a little bit, and then I'm going to switch to 150, flush it out a bit, do some dusting off and vacuuming and stuff, and then get some primer on these bits. Alrighty, so got a couple of coats of epoxy on all this stuff that I needed to kind of re-prime the bottom of that door. Is that sagging? Oh no, it's welds. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Ah, no biggie. And kind of like managed to catch a bunch of areas that I don't know how, but I completely missed them when I primed these doors before. I thought I was being pretty meticulous getting up and around and underneath, but that's kind of why I sort of wanted to kind of get these all in primer, and that, you know, like these are sealed, so if I miss a little bit of the high build primer, or if I miss a little bit of the color when I'm priming, you know, doing stuff up underneath, it's still sealed, it's not raw steel. That's my thinking. You get what I'm going? Picking up what I'm putting down? You understand what I'm saying? Know what I mean, geezer? Anywho, I've been vacuuming, so so that's those little corner bits. There's a few little pinny hole things that I've missed, but I'll be able to get into those easy enough when the door's on there, you know, just with a little bit of glaze or something like that. Quite a bit of dust and shit in that primer because it's quite windy, but I like to keep the door open a little bit. And a little bit, you know, up in there. So that was that repair we did with the pin puller sort of thing. That's all finished up quite nice. And the other side, but the same, a few little pinholes and stuff like that. I did actually fill in a hole over there. I'll have to try and find it again. A few little pinholes in there, but again, like I'll get to that. That may even be covered by the sill plate, I don't know, but same up here. There's a couple of little blemishes that I, you know, thought had sanded out, but I hadn't. But they're door jams, so this will be a, you know, this will make me kind of think and maybe try a bit harder when I'm thinking I'm finished up here when I'm not. But you know what I'm saying, like practice, mate, practice. I didn't bother using any of that kind of shadow coat graphite spray stuff to, you know, find those things, because it is just, you know, the door jams. I wasn't not really too concerned about it. You'll see. So that's it for today. Anyway, I've got to let those kind of dry off, and then I can do a bit of work on that door that's got the big big plate that I welded in there in it. The other door is pretty good. I'll probably just hang that. I probably won't do anything to that until it's on the car, just get it up out of the way. But this door here, yeah, I will do some work on that on the stands. I'll rough it in. It means it'll probably just be rough, and but yeah, that'll be all good. So that's it for today. Be back not tomorrow. I might be able to kind of get in there a bit during the week. I was away for the last 3-4 days down in the nation's capital, down in Wellington, with my young fella, and so I didn't get a full couple of days on this. I was hoping to get a bit more done on the doors, but yeah, we were kind of running out of weekend. But this stuff had to be done, so it is, we're moving forward. I did start chipping away at these, probably fiberglassing and stuff during the week, earlier in the week, just to kind of get it moving, a little 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there sort of thing. But yeah, so I'll scoot these out of the way so I can get the old bomb truck back into the garage, and yeah, go and get myself cleaned up. Hey guys, a couple of days later, all the epoxy's dry from the stuff I was doing up under here. It's looking quite good, well, for me anyways. I'm going to start roughing in this door, laying in some fiberglass and stuff over the top of those welds, just to kind of sort of like seal them up, build them up type of thing. Before I do that, I'm just going to give it a quick whiz over with the old DA, just to kind of scuff it up, give it a key to stick to in the areas that I'm going to do some bodyworky stuff on. Okay, so let's do that. Alright, I've mixed up me fiberglass with a bit of resin in it. I've seen folk doing that. They reckon it makes it smoother. I'm not 100% sold. So I've just got to try and get this on here. Okay, so yeah, went around and did some of the little pinholes and a little bit of pitting here and up the front there from under that trim, and these are kind of like, there was some other trim that I welded up the holes. There was a couple of pinholes up there, so I've done those, and the cuts from the modifications to the door from when we chopped it, and again, kind of looks worse than it is, but that stuff's quite hard to spread nicely. That's like a short grain, I think it's a short fiberglass fiber fill made by ADOS here in New Zealand. I don't know whether it's a good one or not. I just found it and bought it. I was having trouble finding good stuff, but I was in the wrong shop for a start. I was just in a normal hardware shop, but yeah, it'll be alright, don't worry. Most of that will get sanded back off again once that's all cured up. I did put a little bit of resin, fiberglass resin in there as well. I've seen guys say it makes it smoother and easier to spread. I don't know that it did. To be fair, I think it just is a gooey, hard stuff to kind of lay down nice, like normal bog is, So we'll leave that to go off, and I'll, yeah, then we'll do some sanding on that, flatten it down a bit before we put some U-pole dolphin filler in there, which is nice to use. So that'll hopefully hide all of my sins on this door, maybe create a few new ones. So we'll see you in a couple of days. But yeah, we might get in and sort of do some sanding once that goes off after work tomorrow or something. Not tonight. Okay, see ya. Alrighty, over here. Look at me, not that. Just came back down, decided I should probably kind of cut it down a bit while it's, you know, not super rock hard, because apparently it sets as hard as steel. Yeah, so I've just kind of like cut it down a bit, and then we'll that's kind of like covered all the kind of welds and stuff, but it can probably go on to like normal filler, or maybe do I give it another coat of that shit. I'll see how much it needs to be built up, and if there's any like super low spots or whatever, and take it from there. So a couple of days, see you then. Okay, so next morning actually, so I thought I'd just do a quick skim before work. Just running through the middle of it, which I know is the lowest part, so if I skim the whole thing and then sanded it, bound to have pinholes and stuff, and then I'll fill them and then I'll sand, and then sand too much and then I get lots of sort of bad stuff happening. So I'm trying to take things a little bit more progressively, slowly, build it up, you know. So I'll, when that goes off, maybe after work today or tomorrow or something, I'll scuff that down, kind of level it out, and then skim again. You know what I'm saying? Take it out a bit further. Yeah, we'll try that. Hey guys, alright, so next day, last night after work I came down and gave that a bit of a scuff and just laid another skim on there. Big flat panels I really struggle with. I know there's probably a million awesome techniques and whatnot. I've got myself a vacuum longboard. It's a shiny shilling, that bloody thing, but that kind of helps get me a bit more flush. But yeah, we've still got a little bit of, you know, I kind of tend to sand out too much, so trying to be careful not to sand out too much as I do this. So yeah, another skim. I thought I mixed up enough to kind of skim over the whole thing, but I didn't, so I'm just gonna skim through my lowest points, and we'll let that go off and give that another sand later on, and then some more filler and stuff. But yeah, waiting on some good pads for my DA. I bought these on Epoxy Premium. No, not as good as the ones I had before, so I've actually got some actual 3M ones coming, and I've heard they're really good, and they should fit my 3M pad on my DA better, because these holes don't line up on there, see? They miss. So trying to keep the dust down as much as possible, because my garage is like internal access, and it fumes out the whole house and the dust goes everywhere. So I've got to kind of try and be considerate of upstairs. Not ideal, but yeah, we'll get there. Try to keep the dust down. The old R2D2 there is covered in overspray now, but because he was parked under one of the one of these things when I was spraying that primer around the other day. Yeah, so I'll let that go off and want to try and kind of scuff it down before I go to work this morning, so it's a bit easier to scuff down, because it was quite hard when I got to it last night. Anyway, carry on. Okay, so gave it all a bit of a sand, and I didn't get a chance this morning to kind of cut it back before I went to work, so it was kind of like pretty well hard, and but gave it another sand. I've just given it another skim. Hopefully tonight I will be able to rough it down before it gets to that kind of hard stage, you know, like that. Just get it when that's at that fluffy stage, and you can just kind of like gently knock it down, and yeah, and hopefully be onto a winner there. Maybe it's getting close. It's like, well, it's not laid straight, but it's getting into the realm. I had a couple of low spots through the middle that I've been building up and sanding back the center part, you know what I'm saying? But you guys who've done this for, you know, a long time, you probably would have just hit it first shot. But yeah, I've tried in the past like layering heaps on and doing one sand. Never happens, so I'm doing it this way. Like lots of thinner layers, and then just scuff it down, and then bring it up, scuff it down, and see how, if I get a kind of better result. It seems to be probably just as time consuming. There's just kind of less sanding involved actually. You kind of like not sanding for hours, you're just kind of like taking it down a bit and then give it another skimmity skim and away you go. Hey guys, right, kind of roughed back that last skim. Still got some low spots, so I reckon another skim should get me kind of roughed into where it wants to be, roughly. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah, it's getting there. There's just a few like spots. So that longboard definitely helps to trying to, you know, get it where it needs to be, you know. Found a couple of high spots, had to knock them down and things like that, and but yeah, sort of we're getting there. So I'm just going to mix up another skim, lay that on there and see how we go from there. Alright, another skim down, let that go off and then try and flush that out, hopefully. Alrighty, so next day, I think, can't remember where I left off. Just been doing a longboard over that, got it down, like the worst of it down. Still got a couple of low spots, so I've just done another couple of little skims in there, trying to bring it up. And yeah, so hopefully, I might have gone a bit too light on that last skim, so, well, yeah, I might have gone a bit too light on the one before as well, and then too light on this one, but it's getting there. It's like there's just a few little bits that are kind of low, and trying to get the kind of curve and the straight is tricky-ish. Okay, battery died. Straighten my little camera duty thing up there. So yeah, I'll just kind of run another light smoosh over the top of that, see how that goes. While I'm waiting for that to go off, I might get in there with a DA and sort of knock back that fiberglass that I put on there the other day, so that'll be like rock hard. Fortunately it's not big areas, so I'll just sort of knock that down so I can start kind of putting some of the old Bondo bog stuff in there as well. Get at that. Don't mind that rubbish bin down there. I forgot to put the big bins out during the week, so yeah, haven't really got a whole lot of room, so I'm just overflowing my little workshop bin. Got some filler over the top of that stuff. It's pretty heavy, I know, and it's going against everything that I've been harping on about doing thin build up and stuff. But here's my logic. That stuff in there is pretty minor, so it is really mostly a little bit of pinholes, a little bit of leveling out. So I'm hoping, I shouldn't say this out loud because this is where it'll go completely sideways. I'm hoping that I will be able to get those little smooth outs kind of in one pass with the filler, and then just when the old high build goes on there, that'll take care of the rest of it. Hoping. But anyway, I've got to let all this go off enough that I can start roughing it down. So I'm going to go have a cup of coffee. Smoko. Alright, sanded. Actually sprayed some of that guide coat stuff on there and gave it that final kind of clean back. Found more low spots. I'm up to skim, like, must be 476 by now. We're getting closer. Anyway, carry on. Okay, so that's skimmed again. I told you, man, I really struggle with these big panels, but it's getting there. Like every time I do it, I'm just that little bit closer. I don't know, like, and I'm always worried that like I said many times, I always sand back too far. So I'm kind of, even doing this where I'm not skimming the whole thing, I'm kind of like concerned that I'll start sanding into the stuff that is kind of about where it should be, and then I end up low spots there and then go round and round in circles. What am I doing? Go round and round in circles trying to bring things back up that I've sanded down, and just up, down, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how we go. I'm pretty close. The upper parts, there's a bit of a high spot there, I think. Sanded up, like, I think I put too much hardener in those bits. They were rock hard after my coffee, and this bit was still a bit soft, so I got in and sanded all that stuff back. I think I filmed some of that. But anyway, I'll wait for this to go off and find something else to do. I've just seen a high spot on there, so I'll get the longboard onto that bit, and then while I'm waiting for that to dry, Just thought I'd add this longboard with the attachment for the garage back. What a difference it makes having this vacuum and then this perforated stuff. Like, if you have just always used just blocks of wood and other like sanding blocks and shit like I have over the years, you just make a mess everywhere. And so I seen this in the paint shop, and it wasn't cheap, I'll tell you. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it was, because it's got those letters on it, that number and that letter. That's what makes it expensive. But it's really good for like pulling the dust away. Like over there I sanded with just a normal block and the dust everywhere. This, it's real noticeable. Like if you can afford it, or you can find a cheaper alternative that works that's as it's good, grab one, man, because like they are the duck's guts. They work good. And this paper is really good too. I bit the bullet and bought some 3M paper, and it holds up really, really well. Maybe I should have bought 3M pads for my DA. I think I noted that. I thought I'd bought 3M ones, and then I must have changed my mind at the last minute and I bought some auto line ones, which they're alright. I don't know whether they're good or bad, but they flog out pretty quick, that's for sure, but they were cheap. So I'll wait for this to dry. Okay, so nearly there. Rough down in the 80. Probably there's a couple of little bits that the shadow coat was still showing up, and I probably could have kind of kept going with the 80 grit, to get them, but I didn't want to. So I bought some of this finishing putty the other day. It's a 2-pack thing. Mixed up a wee bit of that, splashed it in those low spots. They're only like just little annoying things. And then I had this thought, it's like, does that have to be over the top of the primer, or can it be over the top of normal Bondo? Now it's not much, it's pretty thin. I'll probably end up sanding it out anyway. But I tried reading the instructions, and it ain't happening. I haven't got a bloody telescope, so I can't read that shit. Don't eat it, no swearing, and it can catch fire. Most of what I can think, it seems to all be in a different language in that anyway, so hopefully it works alright on top of just normal bog. We'll just have to wait and see. What have I learnt doing this? Vacuum on the sand is good. Should have just skinned that door. Should have just cut it off through here, made a whole new skin. Why didn't I do that? Didn't think of it at the time. Thought I'd be able to do a nice patch in the middle. Should have just gone further with it. I know I should know better. And the other reason is I actually don't have enough steel to do that. I'd have to go and buy a whole nother sheet. So it's got a fair bit of filler in it, fiberglass and whatnot. A fair bit of it's in the vacuum cleaner now as well. But you know, it's getting there, and it's only going to weigh a couple of kgs more than the other door, so it'll be alright. It's the passenger door, so that it'll just balance out the car when I'm driving by myself. What else have I got to say? It is what it is. Here in New Zealand, you kind of can't just rock out to the old local farm where you've seen a 51 Fleetline just parked in a paddock with mint doors on it. That doesn't happen. I only know of maybe 2 of these in the country, so getting panel parts for them are next to impossible. But yes, any skinning the door, I would have had to have made that stuff myself. But it'll be alright. Like, worst case scenario is the frame of the door is good now. Worst case scenario is if it just ends up looking like shit, or if I decide it's got too much bog and stuff in it, I can still just cut that off. It's only metal, and piss around, make another piece and weld it on and all that kind of stuff. Again and again and again. I don't want to do that. So we'll see how this goes. Should be alright. I've seen worse. I've seen cars that ground into bog and then they got wheat bog inside the bog. It was a shitbox car, to be fair, that particular one. But anyway, carry on. Wait for this to dry now. Okay, so gone. Threw it in the bin. Nah, just kidding. Done a final kind of like sort of sand down with just some 180, just to smooth it out a little bit more, and I'm pretty happy with where it's at. Kind of roughed in at the moment, so I'm going to seal it up, chuck a little bit of this Epoxy Primer onto just to seal it all up, and then I can kind of see where it is. I actually found that there's a couple other little dings in the upper part of the door that I didn't really notice until I was kind of wiping it down, but we'll worry about those once the door's on the car, and we can start, trying to line it all up with the other stuff. So I'm going to do some more priming, sealing. So I think I might have mixed up too much, but yeah, anyway. Alrighty, so there's a couple of coats on that door. I was having a shit fight with my spray gun. I didn't clean it out properly last time, and maybe in the last couple of times, and it's kind of got a bit of a build up of crap in it, so it wasn't really spraying, so I was like not getting much paint out, so I was having to go super slow to try and get some on there. But yeah, got the gun all pulled to bits and soaking and stuff over there on the bench now, so hopefully next time I try to prime something, we won't have that same problem. See, it's very dry. That was part of the problem I was having. There's a little ding there, there's a ding there as well. I didn't bother kind of priming that. And probably a multitude of other things that aren't very straight from what I've just been doing, if you know what I mean. So I'll leave that to dry off, go off, cure, all that kind of stuff. Just push that aside so I can put the bomb truck away, so we'll leave that for today. But yeah, she's straighter than it was, kind of. You can see all my tide marks from my tree ring. One day I'll have a compressor outside. It's big enough to handle ear tools and that as well. Yeah, you can see all my kind of tree rings of my body filler and shit like that on that door. There was a few layers, and a bit more than I really would have liked body filler wise on there, but yeah, like I said earlier, in reality I should have redone that patch or kind of built a new lower skin for that door. But just impatient, I just want to get the door hung on there and not be going backwards and forwards and that, you know, you can go round and round in circles forever on this sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, till tomorrow. Okay, so I thought I was having to go out this afternoon, but I'm not now. So I'm back down in the garage because I thought I'd hang the driver's side door. So I went into my aftermarket, you know, totally stainless nut and bolt kit, started going through all the nut and bolts for the door hinge kit. So you get like 24 yeah, I don't know what size they are, 24 bolts and a whole bunch of these little star washers. Oh, there's the double up. So here we have it. I thought we were one missing on the star washers, so I was about to have a whinge about that, but I was wrong because I put 2 on one of them, so that's good. But now these are the original bolts and washers that go through the post here and latch on there, and they've got a bit of wiggly room there to wiggle around. And these are the aftermarket ones with their little star washers, which would kind of be barely hanging in there, you know, like. So I won't be using those. I'm going to use the original ones, and I'm glad I've still, you know, I've got them, because otherwise I'd be hunting down bigger washers and all sorts of crap. So I might as well just reuse those and put 12 of those away for spares. Weird. So yeah, so anyway, I need my left hand hinges. Put them over there. And I need, what do I need? 6 of them, 12 of them. What am I going to use them for? I need 6 of them. So chuck them over there, and so they're going to be 1/2 inch. I need a 1/2 inch spanner or a socket or something, so I'm going to need 6 of these as well. And I've got there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, and they're 9/16, I think. I'll lose them over there. And yeah, so I need 9/16 and a half. Is that a half? Yep. And I'll grab 1/2 inch and 9/16 socket as well, and then we'll make our way around the labyrinth to where the door is over here. I'll meet you there. Just line those up like so. We've got left bottom, top. Hang on, get this around the right way. That way. There's left, eh? Yep. That's left top. What's going on there? That way. Is that how they go? That is that one. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, that way. Yeah. Is it that way? Right. Aeroplane. Alright, starting to get into the vicinity, but we're kind of sitting out proud down the bottom there, which means we need to tip that front out just a bit on that top hinge, I think. This is one of those things, you know, like struggle street type stuff, you know. So half incher, loosen that off, and whack it, tighten it, check it. She's nearly there, so she's sitting flush at the top. She's just a little sticky outy at the bottom. She's close. It still feels like it needs to come out a little bit. Or can I get it to go in a little bit down the bottom? Is that what I wanted to do? Was I just doing that the wrong way? So now my gap feels real tight up there. That could be because that top's... Or does it need to come back? No, can't come back. What's going on here? So if I bring that top needs to come out, I reckon. What did I just do? So I want to push the top out. I think I just pulled it in. Dipstick. Try again. She's better, I think. Kind of getting back to our gap that we formed the other week, maybe. Probably could pull back a bit at the top. How do I do that? How's my bottom bit? So it feels like this needs to go in a bit more at the bottom still. Clear everything. Yeah, clear everything. So, alright, see if I can push that hinge in a bit further at the bottom. Okay, so I've kind of got it where I think I had it before. Yeah, I think. They never land the same way twice. I've got it sort of sitting. Yeah, so once we get a door catch on there, that'll pull it up into place. Feels like it's a little sticky out at the bottom still at the moment, and my kind of gap's not great across the bottom. I really maybe should go and have a look at my previous. I wonder if I can lift this up a little bit. It kind of is sitting bang on at the moment. Maybe if I lift it up a little bit more, kind of exaggerate it a little bit, so once there's glass and door cards and other crap and 4 litres of bog in the door, then, you know, it'll move on the hinges, you know what I'm saying? So then it'll kind of drop back into its happy place. Sound dodgy? Yeah, it probably is. What else could I do? Can I take that and push that up? I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky, this gapping doors thing. I've done this so many times in this car and I still haven't worked it out to a science yet. Yeah. I'll carry on. Okay, so I think I've got it about as good as I had it before. Again, so like a little high on this back end, but once we get some weight in the door and the catch will pull it down. Gap's not bad here, gap's not bad up the front. We do have a, well, that's actually not too bad now, it's better than it looked before. Anyway, it dips a little bit in the front here, but I think that's the way that sill's been attached. I probably could have built that up with a bit more filler, but I didn't want to run the risk of that corner of the door kind of diving into it, if you know what I mean. So it'll be fine. That's why we build lowered cars. You dump that down into the weeds and no one will even see that gap, because no one's going to want to bend a knee, you know, but like spray painters. No, just joking, just joking. Don't come at me. Yeah, so that's that door on. Still waiting for that one to kind of harden up a little bit. I shouldn't really put stuff on it when it's a bit soft. It is going off a bit now. Probably could hang that one if I wanted to rush things. Well guys, point the camera roll. Well guys, that's that door hung. Noticed I didn't stand back up there very well. I really wasn't paying that much attention when I did that. But anyway, that's sort of hung in place. I haven't got those little rubber door stops in there, so it sort of doesn't, it wants to kind of go back a bit further than it will do. Gaps are okay all the way around. I think they're around about the same as what they were when I kind of gapped it up a few weeks back. But yeah, so that's where we're going to leave this video. So doors are up and out of the way. Hopefully they're going to stay on the car now. And yeah, I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, hopefully they'll stay on the car, and I'll do the final kind of like smooth out. There's a few little dings in this one. There's a little ding up top here, and there's a couple of other little ones just above where I was working on it earlier. Found out what was wrong also with my spray gun. It had dried paint in it. Yep, so I had it soaking for a bit, and I've cleaned it all out now. So that's just a primer gun anyway, but yeah, I've had that happen that once before, like it had paint sort of stuck in the little filtery thing at the bottom of the cup. So what next? Don't know, I was talking about doing some work in this area, get that kind of like smoothed out. underway so I can hang the, you know, clean up, prep up the trunk lid and get that kind of sitting on the car. And yeah, maybe do something like that. I don't know. Still got a lot of other stuff to prep and stuff, all the inner fender stuff. Yeah, tons of stuff, man. All just standing and painting and that really boring, monotonous kind of work, but it's part of the process, I guess. Oh, there's another bit that I didn't sand very well. God, what a monkey. Anyway, that's what I said. Roughed in. I don't know, what should we do next? I don't know, something on this. Bomb truck's got a leak in the cooling system, and I think it's the bottom hose on the radiator, so I might have to address that. Yeah, we've got a little puddle down there, so I'm a bit wary of driving that too far. You know, the old girl getting a bit neglected. The old Area 51 takes up so much time. But yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll start just cleaning up around that trunk lid a little bit and smooth a couple of things out, just get underway. More of that upper part, it's going to be easier to get to with the trunk lid off. Yeah, okay, well, I'll think about it and see what we get up to. Yeah, that's where we're going to leave this video for this week. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be real cool if you go over there and subscribe. Just click on the little button and notifications and all that kind of stuff if you want. Like, share, comment, all that kind of malarkey. I don't know. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, take it easy and peace.